Hello and welcome back. I'll tell you what, we've made it through the first episode. Fiona was phenomenal. She was radiant. And Otel says, s'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît. However, today we'll change the rhythm. Today we bring you a true icon of the French fashion. He was the one who introduced prêt-à-porter. He's passionate about sports, football namely, and we shall see why. This man is an avid art collector. On my canvas, he is bleu. This is a monochrome of transparency. He's somebody that seems quite stoic. He seems noble and very direct. This is a man that observes. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our guest of today is Daniel Hechter. And to make it brighter, to make it magnificent, to make it à la Saint Tropez, we'll invite you to his French demeure, where the part of his private collection is kept. What are we waiting for? Come on, let's go from the M Arts Club to the house of Daniel Hechter. Daniel, hello and thank you so much for welcoming us in your beautiful demeure, as we would say in French. Are you often in Saint-Tropez?
I try. I try because I love this place, and I come here as much as I can.
Yes, one can see why. Daniel, we know you by, if I may say, three major passions of yours: fashion, sport, football to be precise, and art. Today, if you look back, what would be the major passion of yours?
Depend the period. I've been really passionate by my work, because in fact, when I say my work, I didn't work because I was not working.
Yeah.
When I was designing and making my collections, I was not working. I was taking pleasure. So I've been very lucky for that. And I must say fashion has been really my goal for years.
Yes, so we can say fashion, possibly.
No, fashion is one thing. Then sport, I always loved sport. And I had a dream to bring a team to Paris, because Paris was the only capital in the world who didn't have a football team. And I did it.
Yes, what fascinated me, because I'm not very sporty, but with time I'm trying to be, I just love fitness simply. But what I liked very much is that you said that, during the match, there's more gathering, basically, that is so united, it becomes one soul, more than anywhere else. People are so very united.
Well, there are more countries playing football in the world than you have countries at the United Nations.
Yes.
There is more on Sunday, there is more people in the football game at the stadium that you have in the church or the synagogue.
Yeah, it looks like an unbreakable link to me, basically. Yes.
My third passion was art, for a very simple reason. I discovered art when I was 22, 23. And I realized that art is the only witness of the time pass. When the time passed from the 2,000 years before Christ, you had art. And when you see, for instance, hieroglyph, or you see the temple in Greece, this is a witness of time. Pyramids are also witness of time. What is your favorite pieces in your collection?
I love Venus. I love the portrait of Venus. Because for the first time ever, I've been constructing something for 10 years. And it is based on the story of Jenkins' Venus, the sculpture that is found today in Qatar Museum. What fascinates me in art is that we are very instinctive. So I was so instinctive that even the canvas that I chose for her, without knowing the measures of the real sculpture that fascinated me, I took exact height of original Venus without knowing, 162 centimeters. So it is Venus. Still not finished, but there you go. And talking of inspiration, what was the idea behind your mark when you started Daniel Hechter? What is it that you wanted to transmit?
Well, the idea is very stupid because, you know, I'm an autodidact and I never learned. I never learned fashion in school or no. But I arrived at a period in the early 60s that I was living with people, girls and boys, and I could see that nothing was for the people, for the young people. The young people had no fashion. The only fashion they had was the jeans. Besides the jeans, they had nothing. Because you have to understand that at that period, the couturier of that period, like Christian Dior, like Jacques Fat, and so, they were designing for women of 40, 45, 50.
Exactly. Yes.
Why? Because the price was so expensive that they had to target the middle-aged woman. So I started to design for people of my age. And I was the first one to do that.
So this is what we call prêt-à-porter.
Yes.
And sportswear.
They say that I'm the father of prêt-à-porter.
Indeed.
And I was the first one to make the shows with another girl which was my friend, Emmanuel Kahn. But at that, in the 60s, it did not exist. So I was just starting to design things that they can wear. So, for instance, I give you an example. I was the one who did a military look for women, to dress the woman with men's clothes. And this is the way that the young people want to be dressed. My success is only that. It's only to understand my generation. I have a question to ask you, but it's very difficult for a collector to talk about that with an artist.
Okay.
And it's a question I never ask to an artist. What message you want to pass?
As an artist, trust me, I have an answer to that. I actually have an answer. From the logic that I understood artists through their artwork, I also understood the need to express something very clearly through the revolution I have made over 17 years. So the message would not be the same as years ago, but my message of today is very clear. I want to transmit immense peace that I have gained throughout creation. And let us not forget, to really be able to express oneself, one needs to become extremely humble. There was an artist the other day at the gallery, he said to me something phenomenal. He said, the true piece of art is the one that we need to destroy in order to recreate it, as we mentioned shortly ago about paintings. So I think that when I destructed myself, I managed to reconstruct the peace, the sense of peace. The regard of those paintings today they successfully transmit the peace, which is, in translation, the love that I feel for life itself. That is my message. Love that I feel for life itself.
Okay. That's why I never ask the question. Because when I buy an artist, it gives me an emotion. And the emotion not every artist gives me an emotion, but I cannot ask an artist why he gave me the emotion.
Of course, yes.
No.
I mean, what is more important to every artist would be actually, what do you feel looking at the piece of art? That would be actually what matters. And I appreciate what you're saying because it is logical. Why ask if we can feel things ourselves? So I agree with you.
An artist gives the feeling, you know. I have an artist, French artist, which I consider probably the best living artist today. The one who made the knife there and the blade here, Philippe Perrin. He was the first one to describe what is violence, street violence. Mm-hmm. And street violence exists really since 25, 30 years now. But he was the one to, that's why he's contemporary, because he's a witness of the period that he felt before the others.
Within an artist, I want to find eternity within the expression of the artist. One little example to give, an artist named Ken Payne. Ken passed away this year, but he remains on eternity for me. He's a pastelist, British artist, portraitist. There is such a drama in his portraits. And what matters to me, if I dare say a little bit more than the sign of this moment now, what matters to me is the eternity that I see in every single human that he has described on that canvas. It's hurtful to artists à la fois, we can say, to know that it's all about the speculation and investment rather than this
because today,
eternity.
The merchants are not doing their job. The most important gallery in the world today is Gagosian.
Yes.
I hate that gallery. Because he's not thinking about promoting
not feeling the
artists. He's
artist.
making money by selling artists which are in fashion.
Yes.
One is not in fashion, he puts it away, out. And if one is coming up, taking up. But that's not art.
No, that is not art. Because art needs to live. Art cannot live. I mean, art is energy. It's divine. Art is utterly divine. If one does not take it that way, certainly monetary, it will not express itself ever to such a value. And that is this eternity that I was talking about. What is your link with Saint Tropez? What is it that fascinates you here so much?
First of all, it's a beautiful village. It's a really beautiful village. When I came to Saint Tropez the first time, it was in the early 60s. The fashion was not there. You know, people were there, they were there because they liked the place, and it was, you know, you found in Saint Tropez what you brought. Difference with Cannes or Monte Carlo. That's a big difference. But Saint Tropez today, unfortunately, becomes the same.
Yes, yes, everybody's.
And I saw that
disliking.
in 40 years, degradation of Saint Tropez.
I mean, it was a fisherman's village.
Yes.
And that was the beauty of it. If we say that this village has something that no other village has,
It's true.
what would that be? How do you
The
see
light.
it? It's the light. It's a special light.
Yes, it's a little bit like Aix-en-Provence. That's the reason that Cézanne went there.
Yeah.
But the Saint-Tropez, you have a certain hours, you have a special light.
Yes, because you know, when you arrive to Saint-Tropez, what happened to me often is that everything else is in the dark, and there is a special projector on the village of Saint-Tropez that is inexplicable.
At different hours, because if you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you have a light which is fantastic. After the mistral blows,
Yes.
you have a fantastic light. Before the night starts, you have beautiful colors.
Yes.
And I think this is unique in Saint-Tropez.
If you like to show us part of your collection, pieces that you love the most, let
Okay.
us please do so.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Let's discover the beautiful collection.